Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the world of laptops, and we're going to talk about something that might ruffle a few feathers. We're talking about laptop features that are, frankly, a scam. Now, scam is a strong word, but I am using it to describe features that sound amazing on paper but offer little to no real-world value for the average person. Companies spend millions marketing these gimmicks, tricking you into paying a premium for things you just don't need. My goal today is to arm you with knowledge so you can see past the marketing hype and spend your hard-earned money on what actually matters. Ready? Let's get into it. First up on our list is something you see everywhere, the 4000 screen on a 13 or 14-inch laptop. I know, it sounds incredible. 4 times the pixels of a full HD screen. It must be 4 times better, right? Or not exactly. On a screen that small, the difference in sharpness between a high-quality Full HD or QHD display and a 4000 display is almost impossible to see with the naked eye. You have to literally press your nose against the screen to notice the extra pixels. But you know what you will notice? The downsides. A 4K screen absolutely demolishes your battery life, often cutting it down by hours compared to a lower resolution panel. It also puts a much heavier load on your graphics card, which can make your laptop run hotter and louder, and even slow down performance in everyday tasks. So you're paying more money for a feature you can't really see, that makes your battery worse, and potentially slows your laptop down. For most people, a good quality 1080p or maybe a 1440p QHD screen is the absolute sweet spot for portability and performance. Don't fall for the 4K trap on small laptops. Next, let's talk about dedicated graphics cards in non-gaming, non-creator ultrabooks. I am talking about those super thin and light laptops that suddenly boast an entry-level NVIDIA MX series or a low-end RTX card. The marketing will tell you it's for light photo editing or casual gaming. Here's the reality. Today's integrated graphics, like Intel's Iris Z or AMD's Radeon graphics, are surprisingly powerful. They are more than capable of handling photo editing, 4K video playback, and even some light gaming on titles like Valorant or League of Legends. When you add a low-end dedicated GPU, you're not getting a massive performance leap. What you are getting is extra cost, extra weight, more heat, and more battery drain. The performance gain is often so marginal that you won't even notice it in daily use. If you're a serious gamer or a video editor, you're not going to be using an MX 450 anyway. You'll be looking at a proper gaming or creator laptop with a powerful RTX 3060 or higher. So, for an ultrabook, stick with the integrated graphics. They're great, and you'll save money and gain battery life. Alright, let's move on to our third scam, the touchscreen on a traditional clamshell laptop. Now, before you come for me, I'm not talking about 2-in-1s or convertibles where the touchscreen is the primary way you interact in tablet mode. That makes perfect sense. I'm talking about a standard laptop, one that doesn't fold back on itself, that just has a touchscreen slapped on. Think about it. When do you actually use it? You have a perfectly good, precise, and fast trackpad right there, plus a keyboard. Reaching over the keyboard to poke at the screen is awkward, it's slow, and it leaves fingerprints all over your beautiful display. It is a classic case of a feature that demos well in a store but has almost zero practical application in your daily workflow. The manufacturer is added because it's a cheap way to tick another box on the spec sheet and make the laptop seem more premium. In reality, it just adds cost and a layer of glossy, reflective glass that's often worse for viewing angles and outdoor visibility. Unless you're specifically buying a 2-in-1, save your money and skip the unnecessary touchscreen. Number 4 on my list is the quad speaker or 6-speaker setup with Dolby Atmos branding on a thin and light laptop. Audio companies have done a fantastic job of convincing us that more speakers and a fancy logo mean better sound. But let's be realistic. We're talking about tiny speakers crammed into a super thin chassis. Physics is the ultimate limitation here. You simply cannot get rich, deep bass, or a truly immersive soundstage from speakers the size of a thumbnail. While these multi-speaker setups might be marginally better than a standard stereo pair, the difference is often negligible in the real world. You put on a movie and it still sounds tinny and lacks any real punch. The spatial audio effect is often a gimmick that just sounds weird and processed. If you care about audio quality, you're going to do one of two things. Plug in a good pair of headphones or connect to external speakers. That's where you'll get a real, tangible audio upgrade. Paying an extra $100 or more for a fancy speaker logo on your laptop is, for 99% of people, a complete waste of money. Don't let the audio branding fool you. Next, let's tackle something a bit more technical. Having more than 16 gigabytes of RAM for the average user. For years, the mantra was, more RAM is always better. And to a point, that's true. Moving from 4 gigabytes to 8 gigabytes is a huge leap. Going from 8 GB to 16 GB is also a very noticeable and worthwhile upgrade for smooth multitasking. But what about 32 GB? Or even 64 GB in a standard laptop for browsing, email, and Microsoft Office? It's complete overkill. It's like buying a massive 10-bedroom mansion when you live by yourself. You're paying for a ton of extra space that you will never, ever use. Your web browser, your documents, and even a dozen other apps running at once will rarely consume more than 10 to 12 GB of RAM. The extra memory just sits there, unused, doing nothing, after costing you a significant amount of money. The only people who truly need 32 GB or more are professional video editors working with 8K footage, 3D artists with complex models, or software developers running multiple virtual machines. For everyone else, 16 GB is the perfect sweet spot for years to come. Don't get upsold on RAM that you don't really need. And that brings me to my final point, which is a bit of a meta scam. Overemphasizing a single killer spec. You'll see this all the time. A marketing campaign will be built entirely around one number: the brightest screen, the thinnest chassis by a fraction of a millimeter, or the fastest theoretical Wi-Fi speed. But a laptop is a complete package. It's an ecosystem of components that have to work together. What good is the world's brightest screen if the battery dies in 2 hours? What's the point of the thinnest laptop if it overheats so badly that the processor throttles and it runs slower than a thicker machine? What good is Wi-Fi 7 if the keyboard is mushy and awful to type on? The real scam is getting you to focus on one shiny number while ignoring the overall user experience. The best laptop isn't the one that wins on a single spec sheet line item. It's the one that's balanced. The one with a good enough screen, a great keyboard and trackpad, solid performance for your needs, and all-day battery life. That's the laptop that will make you happy in the long run. So, when you're shopping for your next laptop, I want you to be a critical thinker. Look past the buzzwords and the big numbers on the marketing materials. Ask yourself, will a 4000 screen on a 13-inch laptop actually improve my experience, or just kill my battery? Do I really need a dedicated GPU for browsing the web? Will I ever use this touchscreen on a clamshell laptop? Is that Dolby Atmos logo worth an extra $100? Do I need 32 gigs of RAM to write emails? Don't let them sell you on features. Make them sell you on the experience. Look at reviews that talk about the whole package: the build quality, the keyboard feel, the trackpad precision, the real-world battery life, and the system's thermals and noise. These are the things that define your day-to-day interaction with your machine, and they are far more important than any single hyped-up feature. By being a smarter consumer, you'll not only save money, but you'll end up with a laptop you actually love to use. That's all for today's video. I hope this helps you navigate the confusing world of laptop marketing. What are some other laptop scams you've come across? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button and consider subscribing for more tech truths. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.